JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 9th of March 2021. So yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Tuesday's afternoon session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimers. So the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website, and specifically our JFD research page, which we also update on a daily basis. So yep, feel free to visit us here on jfdbank.com and click on the research tab right there on the top, and I believe you can find a lot of useful information here if you're trading stocks or indices or currencies or cryptos. I mean, there are a few interesting technical setups here that we throw out whenever we see something. We try to throw it out, and yeah, on a daily basis you'll definitely find something here, something interesting from the technical side and the fundamental side, of course. And you can have our takes here on this. So yep, that's our website. And jumping right now into the indices, German DAX, looking at this picture, you can see that it's moving nicely up higher here. And if you remember, if you watched the morning session today, I said to you guys that in order to go for some higher levels, we need that pop above the 14,403 territory, because that was the previous all-time high. Then we got that nice pop here, and yep, now we're kind of sitting in uncharted territory. We've created a new all-time high, but my kind of concern here is, or should I say, from my side, what I'm going to be keeping an eye on here is on where this index is going to close today. If it's going to close above this area, above that 14,403 territory, then still there is a good chance to move further north. But if it somehow drifts back below it and closes below it, now this could prove that this is quite a decent area of resistance. And basically, if you would like to go for some lower areas, then there, of course, it would increase the chances of drifting lower. But if the index stays today below this 4,403 territory, to get a little bit more excited with the downside, I mean, probably a drop below today's low, near the 14,309 zone, could do the trick for more sellers, and we could see this one drifting a little bit more to the downside. This would be then drifting towards or moving towards this upside support line. That again could be, but for now, I mean, everything's kind of leaning more towards the upside. But if it suddenly starts falling below its the current lowest point of today, near the 14,309 zone, then this is where we could go for a bit of a larger correction to the not a larger, but a correction to the downside towards this upside support line drawn from the low the 26th of February. Now jumping into NASDAQ 100, and this is something that is really fascinating, to be honest. I mean, because if the Dow Jones Industrial Average yesterday managed to go ahead and create a new all-time high, here you can see the technology sector is kind of had its moment, and now it's kind of drifting lower. It seems that capital is kind of there's not a lot of investors who are well, I wouldn't say that, because I wouldn't say that there's not a lot of investors who are going in for technology right now, but the fact that in technological stocks have kind of reached their peaks, so there is a bit of profit taking, I would say. So, and this is the reason we're having NASDAQ here drifting lower when some other U.S. indices are pushing higher. So again, long story short, for now, guys, looking at this technical picture here, on NASDAQ 100, we will continue targeting the downside. And so far, I mean, you can see this idea that I mentioned to you last week, that if the index pushes higher but struggles to overcome this 12,758 territory, we could see another slide, and we are getting that slide right now. We got that slide yesterday. The cash index today is trying to recover the losses made yesterday, and it's currently trading back above this 12,474 territory. It's currently sitting near the 12,565 area, still below this hurdle, this highlighted one, but it's kind of oscillating around that 100-day EMA. So far, I'm gonna still stick to the same idea. If the price struggles to get back above the 12,758 territory here, another slide here could be possible, so keep that in mind. For the upside, I would need to see a push above the that downside line, and maybe depending on, of course, where we're going to be at when we will break this downside line, or we could break this downside line. If it pushes above the 13,057 territory, that could kind of strengthen the upside scenario, and more buyers could join in. So yeah, keep that in mind. Jumping into another index, the dollar index, and yep, so far so good. I mean, everything's working according to the idea that I mentioned this morning, that a bit of a corrective move here lower could be possible, and we're getting that right now. So yeah, all eyes are going to be now on this upside support line drawn from the low of the 25th of February. So yep, let's see how that's going to play out, but for now, I'm still kind of, let's say, cautiously bullish, especially if this upside line remains intact. But if this upside line gets broken and we see the price falling somewhere below here, below this 9160 territory, now that's where maybe we could go for a bit of a move lower. Silver. So silver is popping higher. It's moving back to the to this upside support line and testing it from underneath, and this one is taken from the low of the 18th of March of 2020. Of course, the silver is enjoying the fact that the US dollar is drifting lower right now. So yep, we can see that a bit of bulls are pushing this commodity higher. And yeah, I mean, now the big question here is, can we push back above these upside lines? My upside scenario is still going to be from the, or should I say, after a break of this short-term upside line. If we get back above the 27 territory, that yes, I will go for some higher levels. All this area here will be somewhat of a neutral one for me. In terms of the downside, well, I mean, I would prefer maybe to wait for another slide below the 25 territory here in order to go for some lower areas. Ethereum. So Ethereum have managed to reach my target here, this 1810 zone. Even managed to overshoot it, but I mean, we'll take that. I mean, it's a nice kind of successful move here. So yep, a break of this 1666 territory, kind of what I was saying previously, that a break of the 1666 territory will open the door towards that 1810 zone, and yep, then we'll take it from there. Now the fact that it's trading still above this 1810 zone, it kind of is strengthening the idea that we could see a further push north. Of course, that will be quite interesting to see if that's going to happen. Most importantly, because, well, looking at this monthly candle here, it will be interesting to see if we can actually continue going higher and overcome the highest point of February, which is currently also the all-time high near the 2039 zone. If we do that, then be very careful. We'll continue monitoring the situation, because what could happen here, for example, this month, it could continue pushing higher. It could overtake this 2038 zone, but then it could drift back down and close below it, and if so, then maybe, yep, we could maybe get a bit of a corrective move lower. But again, it's a bit of speculation here. I mean, it's a difficult one to predict. At the moment, yes, it's trying to get back to this all-time high. Well, that's what I'm going to be targeting right now, especially if the price stays above the 1810 zone. If it drops below it, I'll take a bit of a neutral stand here, but if it starts falling somewhere below the 1400 zone here, then yes, a larger correction to the downside could be possible. NZDJPY, so something for you to keep in mind here and to keep on monitoring, because so far the pair is trading still above this upside support line drawn from the low of the 19th of January. So in a way, yes, I mean, higher levels could be met, but the big question here is, can we see a further push north? For now, I would say I'm being very careful here, although it is very tempting to go for some higher levels because we're still trading above that upside line. Probably a push above the 78.21 zone right here, marked by the high of the 4th of March, could do the trick for more buyers, because this level here is the highest, the current highest point of March, and if we get a nice pop above this, this could open the door towards the highest point of February near the 79.21 zone. USDCHF, so finally we're getting a bit of activity here from the sellers, and yeah, the pair is drifting lower. It's after today, after testing the not this one, but this one right here, after testing the 0.9375 territory, it started moving lower and is now near the highest point of September, and yeah, I mean, that's roughly around the 0.9296 territory. So or we can round it up towards the 0.93 zone, so we're not far from that. Let's see if the 0.93 territory proves to be an important area of support. If it does, then yep, everything could work out nicely here according to this arrow. But if we start breaking below this and we see the daily candle remaining below this area, then, well, I mean, we could go for a bit of a larger correction here to the downside. USDJPY, similar story, but with this one, it's a little bit more tricky. So this morning I talked about USDJPY, and yesterday, to be honest, I mean, and what I was saying, that for now it seems that the sellers are getting crushed here, and that's the reason why I was saying that wait for that confirmation reversal signal first. Now, looking at this daily chart, maybe this is what we're going to be getting today, because at the moment it seems like a nice, beautiful doji here. But again, don't get me wrong, it's still have kind of the full US session to go through, so everything can change. But at this point in time, I mean, it looks like a nice little doji here, which could mean that we could see a bit of a reversal signal here. I mean, but again, I don't want to kind of get ahead of myself here, but this is what I'm keeping a close eye on. And to be honest, a bit of a healthy reversal could do here. But if you want to be a little bit more on the safe side, what you could do here is, for example, for tomorrow, keep your eyes on the current lowest point of today, near the 108.56 territory. And as you drop below it, could, yep, lead the pair towards that correction to the downside. GBPUSD, quick update. I'm not going to spend too much time on this one because I've mentioned this one yesterday in my Traders Tea Time, but still the same game plan remains. I need that push above the 1.8111 territory right here in order to go for some higher levels. Today we came close, or should I say we've tested that area, but we didn't really break properly through it. So if once we get that push above this would also place, of course, the rate above the 208 EMA, and maybe more buyers could join in. And finally, EURUSD. So nice reversal. Everything's according to the plan. I mean, I talked about this morning, and basically the idea was that maybe we could see a bit of a corrective move here higher. However, if the downside line continues to provide resistance, then yes, well, I mean, then some downside here could be possible. So we could see maybe another slide towards the 208 EMA or even this 1.18 zone. But for that, as I said, the rate would need to struggle to overcome this downside line. If it does overcome, if it pushes above the 1.20, excuse me, 1.2023 territory, now that's where it could become very interesting for more buyers. So keep that in mind. But again, this is where the thing is that even if it could become very interesting for the buyers, yes, they could drag this pair higher, but it could stall somewhere near this downside line here, taken from the high of the 6th of January. So keep that in mind. So guys, that's it for this session. I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for watching and listening. If you want to catch my video tomorrow morning, as always, my Trader's Espresso. That's 7 o'clock GMT time. For now, guys, have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Stay safe, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.